Right, hello. First webinar, and it's a good one. So you'll have to excuse the fact Lloyd put this up, and he's 6'3", my 5-foot self can just about reach. Anyway, so at first I'm going to teach you a little bit about narcissists and narcissism, and then you'll see eventually how it ties in with fad diets, and how you'll probably find that you tend to be drawn to narcissists as well as fad diets, and you'll start seeing how they link and be like, wow, Ellie, you blow my mind. So I'll get started. So you've got your overt and you've got covert narcissists. So you've got your overt are kind of like the ones that are very obvious, so you're larger than life, and a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of security guards, a lot of police officers, that kind of thing. So they're very like attractive, very charming, very kind of cheeky, a little bit too good to be true. They're usually they're full of promises. So they do something where they basically become the person, the dream person that you always wanted. So say, they kind of assess you at the beginning, so they find out what it is that you want, who is the perfect guy to you, and they morph themselves into that to kind of catch you out a little bit. So how would we word that for you? So they kind of dream exactly what you've been searching for. Right, and they tend to kind of, so this is just on paper, this is kind of for in front, everything that's kind of like not behind the mask. This is that outward kind of mask. They seem to be, basically they are your dream lover, they're your dream partner, they're exactly what you want, they're what you see in the movies. That's it. Movie perfect. They say so they say just the right things. They say it's almost like they're scripted from a movie. I'll give you a little bit of cringe. So one of my exes that was narcissist actually used to quote Spider-Man movies. It's a little bit cringy, but yeah, he did. He used to actually quote stuff from films, not just seems like it could be from a script, but actually from a script. And you'll probably find the same. You might find that they kind of quote things off and you go, hang on, I swear that's from a song. But anyway, so there's your overt, that's kind of the standard one. Then you've got your covert, so they tend to come across as a little bit more shy, but they're a lot more, they tend to be a lot more they come across as quite smart, whereas the overt, they don't usually come across as quite smart. They're a little bit more it's all personality as opposed to brains, where the covert tends to be a little bit more brainy. They still say just the right stuff, just the right things, but it's a little bit less movie scripted. It's more kind of goes with that shy persona, so it's that kind of oh my goodness, I can't believe I found this, considering I'm such a loser, that kind of thing. So they've got a little bit of a loser complex. I mean, a lot of them still kind of tie in together, but they're the two types. You get the gist. That's what we're going with. So the downside, though, the things that you'll eventually find with both of them is that you'll find that you tend to be second guessing yourself. So like things aren't, so it's a term called gaslighting. So gaslighting comes from it's actually from a really old play. It's basically where there was don't quote me on this because I may have the story slightly off, but it basically comes from a play where the woman, so the man is the narcissist and the woman is constantly questioning why it's dark, that the gas lights have been turned off, and the man's going, no they haven't been dimmed, they haven't been, you're going mad, until she eventually questioned her own sanity. So that's where the term gaslighting comes. They kind of can make you feel very much like you're going crazy and the problem is you, and that you're, it's completely kind of it's just that you've got the wrong idea, or you've overreacted, or it's something that you're doing wrong, as opposed to it could be anything to them, and they're so convincing that you actually genuinely do believe that it's you. So second guessing yourself. So that's wild, nice and smudgy. Second guessing. So, and then you've also got that, what kind of was that surface look at the beginning isn't what they end up being. So that false promise at the beginning where they go, yeah, I want to whisk you off on holidays, I want to give you this perfect life that you wanted, I am this dream person, that tends to completely say on the surface, but underneath it all, it's not actually what happens. So it's been underneath it all, like eventually you end up, so eventually although on the surface they seem perfect, and everything, the relationship seems perfect, and everything that's posted on social media seems perfect, but behind closed doors things are kind of going downhill. Should we just draw that down a hill? So on the surface, behind closed doors, things are actually going downhill. So that's kind of how those relationships work. And then you find, so the kind of definition of an abusive relationship, which is obviously what you're going to be in with a narcissist, is that they're very kind of, so the definition is a power imbalance. So you end up, with the power imbalance, so it means that obviously they're the ones in charge. That's kind of how the narcissist ends up doing it, whether it's painted like that on the surface or whatever it is, either way, whether it's behind closed doors or painted on the surface, they are the ones in charge. So whether that's just with financially, or financially is one part of it, or they decide where you go, what you do, who you see, what you eat, I'm trying to think of examples, but they decide absolutely everything that you do. So yet you don't have that same power. So say for example they have a rule for you that you're not allowed out with your mates, but then they go out with their mates, but it's allowed because they're the one in charge. The power imbalance. So there's also something that you'll get from a narcissist, which is, for the life of me, I'm trying to remember, love bombing, of course. Love bombing until you're caught, and then they abuse you, and then as soon as you try and walk away, then you'll be love bombed again. And love bombs includes a lot of gaslighting. So when they love bomb you, so being love bombed is kind of like where you're getting showered with gifts, showered with compliments, stuff like that. And then as soon as you're caught, so as soon as you are theirs, so as soon as you've said yes to being in a relationship, as soon as you're pregnant, as soon as you're married, doesn't matter. Sometimes, they've all got their own kind of timelines. Some people, get on with being abusing you as soon as they've kind of tested the waters and seen you're not leaving. So they've cheated, you've stayed, cool, you're mine now. Then they'll abuse you, and then eventually, because most of us do, have the courage to walk away, and then they'll kind of love bomb you to get you back. So that's kind of what they do. Do you know what? If you'd have asked me any of these questions within a year after I was in an abusive relationship, I'd be like, yeah, bam, bam, it's called this, it's called that, done my research. But, it's been such a long time since I've been with an abusive person, it's almost, flittering. But, and by the way, side note, I have actually written a micro guide to healing from emotional abuse. So if you are someone that's been in an abusive relationship, especially someone that's been with a narcissist, then please drop a comment below with your email address and I'll get that emailed over to you. But yeah, another thing that you will find is that a lot of people don't believe you when you tell them eventually. So a lot of people will want to support you initially, and then they're like, and then they well, actually, to be fair, it goes one or two ways. Either they go, yeah, I always knew he was this terrible person, or they just kind of go, really, that person? But that's just because they paint such a good picture on the surface. Anyway, if you've been with a narcissist, you'll know all of this. But I will now link it a little bit to your fad diets. Right, so here's your negatives. Well, I mean, you don't ever want to be with a narcissist, the whole thing is negative, really. But here's your negatives, and then here's what you think are positives. So, and then I'm going to use a different colour because I'm wild and bought loads of pens for you. So you've got your fad diet. So for those of you that don't know what a fad diet is, that's your juice plus your keto's got a few different, there's still a lot of arguments about keto, but you've got your Weight Watchers, your Slimming World, all stuff like that. So how do they look in the adverts? How do they look when they're kind of presented to you, when you get that first message about Juice Plus or whatever? It is pretty attractive. It is exactly what you've been searching for. It has been, I've always wanted a magic pill. I always wanted them raspberry ketones that was going to help me drop 2 dress sizes in 6 weeks. So, dream, exactly what you've been searching for. They're charming. They are so charming. They are their taglines, the way that they present it, it's so you get this amount of sins, you get this amount of points. We do sweets. Oh my goodness, my mum used to give me the Weight Watcher packs of sweets which were like a quarter of a point each or whatever, and was like, there you go, Ellie, look, you can have sweets on a diet. They were grim, mate. They were disgusting. Anyway, they are, you know, I mean, I guess they're not movie perfect, but you know what I mean? They're kind of like, they start kind of painting themselves as this community of like people that are all in the same boat, and they're all succeeding, and they succeed forever, and it's this new lifestyle, and it's fantastic. Yeah, so kind of say the right things. There are some of them that come across as kind of like a little bit more covert, I'd say. That would be more the, what they called, Nutri something. There's a diet that like, it does actually give you kind of extra nutrients, but they make it sound like it's the diet that's doing it, when actually it's not. Like, it's really not. It's just like added nutrients, but adding nutrients into your diet is not gonna make you lose weight. The only way to lose weight is a caloric deficit, which is basically like what all of these fancy companies are trying to help you do. For example, keto, yeah, you cut out carbs, the chances are there's a lot less that you're going to eat, and a lot less of the things you used to binge on that you're now not going to binge on. Slimming World, yes, now that you've got sin foods or whatever, you're going to cut down on the higher calorie foods. Weight Watchers, if you're sitting there adding up your points and you're eating all of their ready meals and their stupid sweets, then yeah, you're going to be in a caloric deficit. Intermittent fasting, again, there's a few different kind of reasons why people think it works, but I think all in all, you skip breakfast, you're going to lose weight because you're in a caloric deficit. You've missed a meal. If you skip lunch, you won't be calling it a fancy name, but whatever, we skip breakfast. So yeah, they can all kind of, some of them can kind of come across as a little bit more less in your face. They're a little bit more like, oh, we can help you. When in actual fact, and we can do it in this really, really clever way, when in actual fact, like, it is literally just a caloric deficit. So there you go. And then, but what do they have you doing? So, fad diets have you second guessing yourself. So the pounds are coming off, you're really, really happy, you've been on Slimming World, you got your certificate, whatever. And then you go for, as we all do, a weekend away, a wedding, a birthday, a baby shower, whatever, and you eat what's in the buffet, and you kind of eat normally, in which case you then end up, your next weigh-in, you've gained 4 pounds, or you've gained 3 pounds, whatever, and the, you know, Slimming World person's going, oh, you know, what did you do different? And then you sit there going, oh no, it's because it must be because I did that thing, da 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 da, it's all my fault. And then I see it all the time. I follow so many of you girls that are on what is it, Slimming World, and you all come to weigh day and you go, I've gained 3 pounds, I'm so upset, it's my own fault, I had pizza that one time. Like, yeah, the Slimming World people have not educated you on the fact that that may be water, that may be, you know, that may be like that you've had a salty meal the night before, that may be that your hormones are all over the place. Like, this is where kind of Lady Slimming World at the top is kind of being a bit of a bitch, really. She's letting you think that it's you that failed. It's nothing wrong with Slimming World. If you'd have followed our rules, we would have been absolutely fine. You sit there kicking yourself, you sit there crying because of that scale, when in actual fact, if you follow my post, you'll see that scale, yeah, it's just not the best way to determine your progress. So, but then on the surface, you're there going, I've been on Slimming World, or I know I keep using Slimming World as an example, but I think it's just the most popular one at the moment. I've been using Slimming World for X amount of weeks. I feel great. You feel the need to post it on social media. I've been following it so well. Look at how many pounds I've lost, da 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 da. But they don't actually check in with how they're feeling themselves. Like, actually the days, the weeks that you... So rude, right? My camera just cut me off. My actual camera is fed up with me. How rude. Anyway, so yes, so you're there going, look how many pounds I've lost, Slimming World's fantastic. And everyone always sticks up for Slimming World. Like, they always stick up for the thing. They don't, and they always kind of knock themselves down. They don't ever go, actually, do you know what? I was just being a normal person. Do you know what I mean? I just went to a wedding. Like, come on, Slimming World, allow more sins. Educate me here. And the reason that they don't do it isn't because they love you. Slimming World, Lady Slimming World doesn't love you, I'm sorry. The reason they do that is because they need you to need them, because that makes them money. So as long as you need that diet and you need that person, that diet controlling you, and telling you what you can eat, and the fact they call the bad foods or whatever sins, that hurts me deeply. How can you call Maryland's cookies, like, there's no sins in them? They're delicious. Like Mr. Kipling's Viennese Whirls, they're fucking fantastic. They're not sins. Anyway, won't go off on a tangent about my love for sweet things. Anywho, so yeah, you will constantly stick up for the fad diet, hashtag narcissist, and constantly knock yourself, as opposed to question the idea behind said fad diet. Also, so power imbalance. Let's say, let's kind of like touch on that a little bit. So when you're on one of these fad diets, they rule you. You cannot say that you've been on Juice Plus, and you're constantly thinking about it. Who is in control there? Are you in control? Have you learnt anything from them? Have you checked in with yourself? Have you learnt how to make sure that you are completely free, or are you being completely controlled by said fad diet? I think it may be the latter. Considering I've been chatting for you so long, and even like my Sony is had enough, I'll move on to the next bit. So love bombing, and then when you're caught, then you try and leave. Familiar? I think so. So they've love bombed you. They've been everything, said the right things. They've been everything that you wanted them to be. So you've started on Slimming World, and you've lost X amount of pounds, and you're en route to what you want to do and whatever. They've got you hook, line, sinker. You go into the meetings. You've bought the food. You've bought the recipe books. You've given Lady Slimming World shit ton of money. So because you were love bombed, so they gave you that promise, and also things are working. You know, it's going the right direction. You're caught. You're in there, and until you are being abused, which is what obviously I spoke about last time. You are being reliant on it. You are... The thing as well that these fad diets don't teach you is actually how to manipulate your mindset as well as your body. So yes, you may be losing pounds, you may be looking in the mirror and feeling more confident from that, but what if something happens? Life is fickle. Like, what if you get pregnant? What if you have an injury? What if you find you have intolerances to this, that and the other? What, you know, anything can happen. I can't even go through every scenario. Anything can happen, in which case that causes you not to be able to follow said diet. And when you can't follow said diet, you like are back and forth. You're putting on weight, you're losing weight, and the whole time you're thinking, I need to get back to it. So that's kind of this bit. And then eventually you go, do you know what, this isn't working. I can't sustain this. Like, I need to find something else. And then you'll find something else, the exact same thing happens, and then you see the advert for Lady Slimming World, and she's looking fine as ever. She's promising you all those things, and then that's it, back to square one. So obviously, as you can see, good few connections between the two. And then yeah, everyone else has these. They've given these reviews. No one's talking about the like downsides of things. No one's talking that you just see all of these. It works. It works. It works. This is my slimming world journey. This is my slimming world journey. Look how much I lost. This, that, and the other. But no one ever talks about the fact that you've never been able to get away from it. That you have been continually controlled or drawn back to said diet. And that is kind of your connections between the two. And now I'm going to touch quickly. I say quickly, you learning, there's nothing quick about me chatting away. I can talk for England. So let's just talk about how this old thing or lack of is exactly why you are drawn to all of this behaviour. So when you really learn to love yourself and you learn to be one with yourself, and you can kind of learn to connect with yourself, then what comes with that is that you trust yourself. How you feel will be more important to you than how you look. You'll learn to educate yourself, because you'll realise that kind of like not everyone wants what's best for you. Lady Slimming World isn't your best friend. She's not your lover. She's just kind of, she's a money hoe. She's using you. I'm not telling you that she doesn't give you some good things, but at the end of the day, that is really what it comes down to. You will learn to kind of like, so once you've like, this is the thing that always gets mixed up about kind of my coaching, is a lot of people cannot kind of go through the full mindset thing and being connected with their body until they've learned that they are actually in control of it and learn kind of discipline. So I do help people diet, but I help them diet whilst educating them, so that when they've reached their goal, they have learnt to absolutely adore themselves throughout the whole journey from day one. I mean, day one's difficult because you've got to learn, but from day one down to their goal, they realise self-love is continuous. You don't have to be 8 stone to love yourself. You don't have to be size 6 to love yourself. You don't have to be in your LBD to love yourself. You can do it throughout the whole thing. You actually recognise kind of what you do deserve. So for example, with a fad diet, you'd be there going, I'm better than this. I don't need to spend my whole day worrying about my next meal. I have shit to do. I'm so much more than like what I'm gonna have for lunch. I'm much more than sitting there calculating my sins. So yeah, and then also you start to kind of appreciate your body for its function. So once you start, and by the way, with function comes looks. This is the other thing people don't get, is I always say, like, you'll start to appreciate your function, like how your body functions, what it does for you. It helps you, you know, for example, when I take Phoenix and into the soft play centre, it helps me be able to charge through that with him, have really good memories with him that I may not be able to do if I was like a lot bigger, or if I was like my health wasn't as good, you know. Like, I concentrate on function all the time, but I'm constantly grateful for how well my body works, and then I celebrate that by exercise, as opposed to discipline myself and punish myself by exercise. I celebrate what my body can do by then moving it and being like, this is cool, man, I can do this, I can do that. And then with that, because you're moving your body for its function and you're working on your self-love, comes looks. You glow. The real glow up. Lady Slimming World cannot give you the real glow up. But yeah, so all of these, like, self-love is the real deterrent for kind of narcissist relationships. That's the other thing, like, you know, pretty much all narcissists cheat, or they like kind of leech off you and stuff like that. I used to always be so confused, like, how can people walk away from someone that's cheated on them? Like, I'd love to be able to, but someone cheats on me and it's like, how do I make this work? I can't live without you. But you will have full faith that you can live with no additional control. So, like, I literally coach people to be able to never need a coach. Like, that is when they turn around to me and go, I no longer need a coach, my job is done. Way, well done, Ellie, pat on the back, well done, person, off you go, be free. Whereas, you know, if you keep falling for narcissists, if you keep falling for fad diets, you're never going to be free, because you're always going to be imprisoned by some kind of rules and stuff like that. But you can be your own self-discipline, you can be your own kind of you can give yourself permission. You can completely turn life into a full education about yourself, and it makes it a way better place, as opposed to just looking for someone to control you. Which is, can't believe I forgot this, another thing that's similar between being attracted to a narcissist and attracted to a fad diet, is that most people that are attracted to narcissists have had abusive parents, or so they've had abusive parents and or controlling parents, or they've had someone that was like distant, emotionally not there. So they look for a parent. They constantly go through life looking for a parent. Some of them turn to the military, some of them turn to fad diets. You look for someone to parent you, to kind of replace that toxic kind of parent that was that has kind of had you ending up in that place. So you're looking for someone to control you in either a similar way to your parent did, how your parent did, or to control you because they were absent, so you're looking for a parent. So yeah, that's another thing. So once you start kind of looking into the depths of why you are searching for these people, you can then work on them, be your own parent, be your own fad diet, be your own, like, you know, you can realise that you are completely free. And that's what I like to help people do. But this isn't about me, this is literally just, I wanted to educate you because I thought it was a pretty cool thing to see the similarities between them all. Please drop a message in the comment box about I do these every 2 weeks. Well, I do these, you know, saying it like this group has been up forever. No, I plan on doing these on a bi-weekly basis. So there won't be one next weekend, but there will be the weekend after. So keep dropping ideas as to what you'd like me to cover next time. It can be literally anything. And I will be sure to be here with my funky wall sticker whiteboard and feed your sponge brains. And I will also pop a link in the description below, so if you do want to inquire about coaching, you can either fill in a form or you can book a consultation call. But just until next time, thank you for listening to me waffle. Bye 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 bye.